Hello students, how are you? I hope you are all fine and you have seen the earlier parts of this chapter. Now we are going to continue with the methods of separation. So today we are going to see the next method, which is used to separate two miscible liquids. Now what is meant by miscible liquids? Liquids which mix with each other, like milk and water. If we mix them, they get mixed completely. In the same way, there are some other liquids which get mixed, so they are known as miscible liquids. So how do we separate it? In the earlier method, we have seen how can we separate two immiscible liquids. So that was by the use of a separating funnel. So in this method, we are going to see the separation of two miscible liquids. So the method which we are going to use is distillation. Now in this method, we boil a mixture of two liquids and then vapors are formed. Now the liquids, they should differ in their boiling points by at least 25 Kelvin or 25 degrees Celsius, right? And when this mixture is heated, it is done in a special type of apparatus which we are going to see in the next slide. So the vapors of the liquid will be formed which boils earlier, means which has lower boiling point, and then these vapors are passed through a condenser. They get condensed and then the first one gets separated and the higher boiling point liquid remains behind. Okay, so here the method used is distillation, and principle: at the boiling point of the more volatile liquid of the mixture. More volatile means which has lower boiling point. So first it will start boiling. The vapors almost consist of the more volatile liquid. So the vapors of the low boiling point liquid will be formed first. So thus the separation of the two liquids can be achieved at their respective boiling points. So first, as the temperature increases, the liquid which is having lower boiling point will start forming vapors, right? The more volatile component distills over first. The difference in the boiling point should be at least 25 Kelvin. Okay, so the difference should be at least 25. It can be higher than 25 degree Celsius or 25 Kelvin. Kelvin is another unit of measuring temperature. Okay, applications: it is used for separation of many organic compounds. Now many organic compounds are formed in nature in the same substance, so they are separated by this method. Okay, so this is the setup, and here we are separating a mixture of acetone and water. This acetone, you might be familiar with this. It is a liquid which is used as a nail polish remover. Girls might have used it. Then its mixture is taken in this flask. Then here we get one, it is a fractionating column. It is consisting of some glass beads which provide some surface area for cooling of the vapors. Then these vapors are passed through a condenser. This condenser is continuously filled with cold water. Cold water comes from this inlet, and the water which becomes warm due to the hot vapors, then it is let outside through this water outlet. Okay, then the vapors condense due to this water, cold water here, and it is collected. So acetone, which is having the lower boiling point, so it gets separated from water. Okay, so in this way this distillation process works. Now next process is fractional distillation. It is another form of distillation. but here we can separate together the components which have boiling point, difference in boiling point of less than 25 Kelvin. So this method can be used where the difference in boiling point is less than 25 Kelvin. Okay, so in this method a fractionating column is fitted in between the distillation flask and the condenser, right? Then the fractionating column tube is packed with glass beads. The glass beads provide surface area for the vapors to cool and condense repeatedly. So the glass beads, they provide surface area, and due to that the vapors get condensed easily. Okay, so this is the setup for a fractional distillation. Here you can see some fractionating column which is bigger, and the setup is similar, but here we use some glass beads. Okay, so this method is generally used when the boiling point are very close. So because of these glass beads, the vapors get condensed faster, and therefore they get cooled faster, and in the meanwhile the vapors of the other start forming and coming up to this point, right? So as soon as the vapors of the first liquid gets condensed here, the second one starts rising up. Okay, application for separation of gases from air and separation of different petroleum products. You know that from petroleum we can separate different products, and for this fractional distillation method is used. Here I have shown this in this diagram. Crude oil is supplied from this part, furnace, and then it is heated. So the lower boiling, first the gases which come at 20 degrees Celsius without heating also, and then at 150 gasoline, petrol they separate, then at 200 kerosene. So in the same way the other, one after the other, the different products get separated from the petroleum. Okay, separation of different components of air. Now by fractional distillation method the different components of air can be separated, and for this the air is compressed. How it is compressed? By increasing the pressure. If we apply pressure on a gas, then its surface area decreases, it starts getting converted into a liquid. So the air gets converted into liquid air. Now this liquid air is allowed to warm up slowly in a fractional distillation column, where gases get separated at different heights depending upon their boiling points. When the air becomes a liquid, then it is heated, and therefore the gases, they start getting separated as their boiling point is achieved. Okay, so this is the process setup. From here the air is in, air under pressure means where pressure is applied, then from hot air it comes from here, cold air compressed, then when it is compressed then it gets liquefied, then see here different gases, they come out, nitrogen, argon, oxygen. Okay, in this way the different components get separated. Crystallization. Now this is the next method. It is the process of separating a pure solid in the form of its crystal from a solution. So here in this method we purify an impure solid. So for this the impure crystals are dissolved in water or any suitable solvent, then it is filtered to remove the impurities and then evaporated, so we get pure crystals. Okay, so this method is better than the simple evaporation technique. It is better than simple evaporation technique as some solid decompose on heating. When we start heating some solid, they decompose, means their chemical composition is destroyed. Some solids like sugar get charged to dryness on heating, so charring of sugar takes place, it becomes very dry. Some impurities may remain dissolved in the solution even after filtration, so some impurities, they may remain in the solid. Okay, so therefore this method is better than the simple evaporation. So here the process of crystallization: soluble solid in solution. So solid is dissolved in a solvent, then it is filtered using a fluted filter paper, special arrangement of a filter paper, and here we pour hot saturated solution. Saturated solution of this is made and it is filtered when it is hot. Okay, then here we get the pure solution, and then using a hot plate the crystals are obtained. Okay, the solvent gets evaporated and we obtain pure crystals. Okay, applications: so purification of salt, any type of salt like copper sulfate or sodium chloride, the common salt, or crystals of alum from pure samples can be obtained by this method, right? So this was all about the different techniques of separation. We'll see the physical and chemical changes in the next video. Okay, until then, stay home, stay safe, and keep learning. Bye.